Welcome, everybody, to Mock Draft Thursdays here on the Pride of Detroit Twitch and YouTube channels. This is a Twitch and YouTube exclusive for a live audience, not on the podcast, not on the website, only for you guys here watching us live, where we're going to run through a couple different mock draft scenarios using the Draft Network's mock draft machine. Unless you guys want to try another one later today, we can maybe mess around with the PFF one. There's a whole bunch of fun ones out there. We're going to get through as many as we can in the next hour and a half. In cases this is your first time here, hello. My name is Jeremy Reisman. I am the editor-in-chief, got it this time, at Pride of Detroit. I will be your co-host tonight for Mock Draft Thursdays. Right below me right there is one of the co-hosts of the POD cast, senior editor of Pride of Detroit, Ryan Matthews, at Ryan_POD on Twitter. Ryan, I nailed that intro.
Yeah, I'm jacked. Just listening to it, man. I'm ready to run through a wall.
I wish we were recording this in more than just a live fashion, because I would just listen to that over and over again.
Do you know what you need to do? You just need to be in that state of mind next time we do the podcast.
I'm a little more relaxed, a little more laid back.
Like Allison Brie, loosey-goosey. Community reference.
I appreciate the community references. And by the way, before we quickly get to our third guest, who correct chat, this is not Chris. That's not Chris over there. That's someone different. Zern Baby Zern, thank you for the 5-month subscribe to our Twitch channel using that Twitch Prime subscription. Appreciate that. That other person who you may not recognize because he hasn't been on the show in a while, he is our social media manager. He does our questions of the day, messes around with a little bit of everything. He helps us. You might notice sometimes our Twitch chat has a poll. More often than that, it's that guy doing it. That's John Whitaker, at Whitaker on Twitter. John, how you doing, buddy?
Hi, doing pretty well. I gotta say, every time I come on the podcast, someone mentions that I look pretty young, and I'm looking at you two. I'm like, I need to get some facial hair going. I'm really lacking out here.
The facial hair not only makes you look older, but once you shave it, everyone gives you compliments about how young you look. So it's kind of best of both worlds.
I would rather look too young than say looking like I'm already 60 or something. I'll take it.
What are you suggesting there?
Yeah, what are you saying?
Oh, no, I'm not talking about you guys. I'm just saying in general.
John, I think the absence of facial hair is a distinguishing factor. So I think you need to keep it. You need to keep it clean.
A lot of people always say, like, wow, I didn't expect that voice from you. To quote the very famous Big Slick McDick on Twitter, I sound like an audiobook narrator, but I look like I'd be friends with Malcolm in the Middle. So I'll take it.
One of the best comments and commenters in Pride of Detroit history. R.I.P. Big Slick McDick. He's not actually dead, I don't think. We just don't hear from him every now and then. But anyways, this is our crew for tonight. We're going to continue to try to rotate it through the next 3 weeks, because literally 3 weeks from tonight is the NFL draft, round 1 of the NFL draft. So how this is going to kind of work is, at least for the first draft, we're just going to do it ourselves, but you guys will get a nice little big screen here so that you can see what we're doing here. We'll go through all 5 rounds at the moment, unless we decide to trade down and pick up some 6th and 7th round picks, because again, Lions only have picks in rounds 1 through 5 at the moment. What do you say, guys? Do you want to do potential trades in this first draft, or should we do a straight one?
I want John to decide.
Usually whenever I do mock drafts, I do one with trades and one without. Because on one hand, I feel like trying to predict trades is really hard to do.
Yep.
But on the other hand, you almost never end up in a draft where a team doesn't end up trading at least one pick. So it's kind of like, which one do you want to go for? I personally like the idea of doing trades first, because I think it also lets us talk about, some of the things that might happen, because we had the Panthers, for example, trade for Sam Darnold, and, that can affect what teams might be on the move.
All right, yeah, I like that. So let's start with trades. And if you watched last time, the Draft Network gets very aggressive with offering trades all the time. So I can almost guarantee by the time we're on the clock at 7 here, we're going to have an offer. But let's see how it plays out. Let's do this. Kick it off. And I'm going to see, so Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, so far, pretty expected. Obviously, there's some talk about Mac Jones. And look at that. So here's the issue, the one issue that we have with the Draft Network's trade simulator thing is that we don't actually get to see the board. The way that it's set up is we don't we can't see through this dark area right here, and it's really annoying.
Fuzzy, who could it be?
But yeah, I mean, at this point we just have to look at the potential trade. So first off, we got Carolina just sliding back one spot and picking up a 5th. That seems, that's like a free 5th round pick essentially, although you don't know who Carolina's going to take.
It doesn't seem very likely, but I mean, it doesn't seem very realistic, but yeah, it is. The other offer that you have on the board for the Broncos, hey, that one could happen.
Okay, so I mean this one you get a lot more here. You trade down 2 spots, you pick up a 3rd and a 6th, both this year, and remember that's a high 3rd. That's almost a 2nd round pick, really. So that one looks pretty good. And then this is the bigger one. We trade down with the Patriots, pick up a 2nd and a 3rd. So you're talking about maybe 2 extra starters in this year's draft class. What are your guys' initial thoughts on which of these? I think this is like the perfect kind of layout of what could potentially happen. You either get the small trade back, or you get the big trade back, or you stick with the 7th pick. So let's decide on a trade offer. Let's have a little bit of fun on this one. So which trade offer? Let's start with you, Ryan. Which one are you eyeing?
So I think if you accept the Broncos offer, you still get like a blue chip prospect. I know we can't see everybody who's off the board yet, but you're still going to get a talent that I think everybody right now who's talking about the Lions at 7, you still get one of those players at 9.
Right.
So I like that. I like that the Lions still get like a blue chip prospect, and the Lions get an additional 3rd round pick, as you mentioned, is really like a super late 2nd round pick. Yeah. And I know that's just kind of like the draft gymnastics that we like to do to make ourselves feel better, but it is a very high 3rd round pick. And then, you get involved on day 3 a little bit. The Lions don't have a 6th round draft pick. I like this a lot, but I can be sold on the Patriots pick if you want to make an argument or a case for that, either John or Jeremy.
I'll throw it to you, John. What are you thinking?
So I like the Panthers trade, but the thing is, I don't think it's very realistic. And I'm thinking that in this, mock, maybe they haven't accounted for the fact that Sam Darnold got traded.
Sure.
If you're trying to exploit the mock draft machine, more than likely you would take that one, and then someone's probably going to offer you for pick number 8, and then you move down from there.
Sure.
But we're trying to make it a bit more realistic. So I think probably the Broncos one is the best decision, kind of what Ryan hinted about, where I think if you move down with the Patriots to 15, I think there's a little bit more of a gamble. Now, I like this draft class a lot, but 15, I think, you're going to see some of the wide receivers gone. You're going to see some of the offensive tackles gone. You might even start seeing some defensive players off the board. So I think it's a little bit too far, even if the return is a little bit sweeter with, I think it was a 3rd round pick and
a 2nd round pick, with the Patriots.
The
deal,
Patriots,
right?
Patriots is a 2nd and a 3rd,
Yeah, 2nd and a 3rd. So it's pretty good. Let's see, because that is 46. That would be like middle of the 2nd.
Yeah, right around where they are now, so 14, 15-ish, yeah.
I think probably Broncos is the best, because I think realistically a top 10 pick, especially in this draft, and what the Lions are looking at, I think is a lot more valuable to me.
All right, yeah, I'm with you guys. Let's accept the Broncos offer here, and I think it makes sense too. Obviously it depends. I think the Broncos definitely want a quarterback. I think they were in on Josh Rosen. They've been kind of in on some of the other quarterbacks available this offseason, haven't really landed one. The question is, who will they trade up with? What gets to the point where they're like, I want to jump up and get a guy? Is it here? Is it just one spot, below the lines with the Panthers now not needing a quarterback? Do they get even more aggressive than jumping just the lines? So in this scenario, it works out in the Lions' favor. So let's take their pick. And now we get to actually see what the board looks like. And let's just, we could potentially do a double trade down, but I think now we're getting into unrealistic territory and not necessarily as fun. So just for the heck of it.
I totally agree with you, Jeremy. At the same time, look at what the Dolphins have been doing.
True. We could now go back to the Patriots and also pick up a 3rd and a 4th if we want to go back there again. Now the Jets are calling all the way at 23, offering a 2nd and next year's 5th, which doesn't seem like that good of an idea. But we're going to say no to these and actually look at the board and see who we have. And Mac Jones is there, who is 3rd on the Draft Network's board, interestingly enough. The Broncos, by the way, traded up and got Micah Parsons. So
You love to see it.
Interesting John Elway moves over there.
That's a decision.
So
Not a
now
good one, but it's a decision.
we're at 9, and Mac Jones and Justin Fields are on the board, as is Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Patrick Surtain, if we want to start talking about defense here. This is maybe one of the oddest scenarios the Lions would ever find themselves in, and completely unrealistic, I would have to imagine. But let's play along. What are you guys thinking with this board right now?
Well, so do you mean unrealistic in the sense that Mac Jones and Justin Fields are still both there because the Broncos would probably take a quarterback?
Yes. 100%. Okay. Yes.
Now, at least we did get the first 3 picks being quarterbacks.
Yeah. And honestly, right? The rest, 1 through 5 are, I would say, realistic, potentially.
Even 1 through 6, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
For sure. I'm super bummed out that Rashawn Slater got picked because I would be here pounding the table for Rashawn Slater.
Yeah.
I think that he'd be a dynamite pick at number 9, especially with the other draft capital that the Lions were able to grab. John, do I need to say it? Because I feel like you're going to say it.
Yeah. As you can probably guess, I had a question of the day a few weeks ago asking if Lions should trade up for a quarterback, and I said yes. If you're able to trade down and still get a guy like Justin Fields, I think that is an absolute win. I don't necessarily think it's super realistic, but I think if you're Detroit, you have to be licking your chops. Now, if you have Mac Jones and Justin Fields on the board, I think some team might call Detroit and be like, "Hey, I want to trade up," and maybe that's why in this situation we saw the Patriots or something. But I think honestly, Justin Fields is really, really tempting to pass on. Really tough.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you.
Who are your top 3 players you're looking at right now, Jeremy?
I think it's Justin Fields, Jalen Waddles, and it might be Patrick Surtain. Honestly, I've seen a lot of people saying he's CB1 right now, and we've talked about it a little bit in the past. I think part of it is, the back concerns with what's his name?
Caleb
Fairley. I don't even know where he is on the Draft Network's board right now, but I don't even see he hasn't gone. Oh, yeah, he's all the way down at 29.
29, I think.
Yeah. I don't. Obviously, cornerback's not the biggest need, but I think there is a long-term issue there at that position. So I don't mind going into. I really, and I've said this a couple times now. I think any position should be on the board because I don't see a lot of long-term solutions at any position on this team right now. So you just get talent. Yeah, I don't know. I'm staring Justin Fields in the face right now, and I'm one of the guys that's just like, I'm cool with passing on a quarterback this year and maybe even next year, and I do want to see what the Lions have in Jared Goff. I'm not one that's throwing him to the curb right away, but this is, I mean, in a rebuild, you take talent first, and I think Justin Fields is the most talented guy on the board right now.
I will say, though, that I think Brad Holmes is probably more committed to Jared Goff than I think us as casual fans or writers are. Like I kind of mentioned this today on Twitter, where I think that as soon as Brad Holmes kind of leaves the building, that's when the Rams decide to, hey, let's move on from Jared Goff. And Holmes just so happens to be the guy who brings him in. So I think there should be a pretty strong attachment there. But I just think that Fields is really, really tempting. And as a person who's in super high on Goff's future, especially in Detroit, I think Fields is just too tempting. You can sit him for a year and go from there.
The Twitch chat was split almost 50-50 with the slight edge going to Justin Fields over Jalen Waddle. They don't get a say in the matter, but it sounds like we're all in agreement that Justin Fields should be the pick. So the pick is in. The Lions are taking Justin Fields. Trade back, get some extra picks, and still get a quarterback. Now let's see how the rest of the draft plays out here. Look at that. The Patriots just sit there and be patient and get Mac Jones anyways at 15. They came calling twice. Turns out they didn't have to.
Man, how happy are the Eagles? They still get a top flight wide receiver in Devonta Smith at 12.
Yep, there goes JOK. Now I saw someone mention if we're doing trade downs, do we want to consider trading up to get somebody? And I'm going to pause here because we're at pick 36. The Lions are at 41, so it'd be 5 moving 5 spots up. Is there anyone here that you'd consider doing that for?
I don't think so. My guy went at 19, Jeremy. We talked about Trevin Morig on the podcast a little bit, but that's a little rich. I mean, him going as early as 19 is pretty wild. Rashad Bateman, if he was a guy who was kind of still available in this range, I've seen scouts say that he's wide receiver 1, which is wild.
That's crazy.
Bold, very bold.
I mean, he had a great pro day. I think he ran like a 4.4, and I mean, there are guys who, there are scouts that apparently have him ranked higher than Jamar Chase, Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle, but I mean, they also took 2 running backs back to back, and that would have been something worth trading back up in the first round for, right, Jeremy?
Yeah, that's interesting. But I am maybe call me a homer, but I do see Kwity Paye right there staring me in the face a little bit.
Is. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tempting at this point.
I'll be honest, I'm looking at 2 other defensive positions, and it's defensive tackle and linebacker. And specifically, we're going to be looking at Christian Barmore from Alabama, and a guy who I'm pretty high on, and a lot of people have been getting on the hype train recently is I think it's Jamin Davis. I don't particularly know. It's one of those names that I always just read and never actually pronounce it. So I'm not sure if it's Jamin or Jamin or something. Anyway, Jamin maybe? Anyway, the linebacker from Kentucky. He's a very explosive athlete. I think he set, I think it was the best vertical for a linebacker ever, which is pretty impressive when you consider some of the athletic linebackers we've seen. At the same time, I don't necessarily know if trade up is the right way to go. I think we've kind of mentioned this before where Lions really need to accumulate a bunch of picks. Yeah. And I think, if there's a guy that they really like and they notice they're sliding, maybe, but I think us as people who don't necessarily have insight into their war room, I don't think trading up makes a lot of sense.
That's fair. I think I'm with you there. While I'm with you, I think and I looked it up. It is Jamin Davis, or Kwity Paye are guys that you're at least maybe feeling around for at this point if you're the Lions. I mean, we could also play kind of the cheating. Oh, did I say we were at 36 and we're actually at 25? My bad, everybody. I just saw the 36 highlighted. So, yeah, we are only at pick 25, so the Lions are still 16 away. So, it would be a significant move up at this point. But there are a lot of interesting names out there. Let's, for the sake of it, of just moving things along, let's let it ride here. See where we get to when the Lions are on the clock. So there goes Jamin Davis to the Packers, and then Kwity Paye right after him to the Bills. Kadarius Toney, another wide receiver I see a lot of people high on, goes to the Jets. Oh. And are we on the clock right now? And we got a call or someone? No, yeah, we're on the clock right now. The Dolphins are calling up, willing to give us a 3rd-round pick to drop back 9 spots, and the Rams, good old Les Snead on the line, wants our 2nd and 3rd pick, which would be, so we drop back 16 spots, we jump up 13 spots in the 3rd, and then get a 6th and a 7th, which is complicated, but interesting. So basically you're picking up a 6th and 7th and moving up in the 3rd round to drop back 16 spots. Pretty significant drop off there. Either of those look interesting to you? Interesting,
but this is just kind of the downfall of the Draft Network's interface right now because you need to know need to know who's on the board.
Yeah, so I think for further, let's just say no on the trades from the rest of the way out because we just won't know.
I will say though, what if you click counter offer? Would that maybe get a way to highlight it perhaps?
Oh,
because I would say no to a Rams one. Let's see. I saw it. Try to hide that.
So now we can see the board, but I don't know if we can get those original trades back. I don't think you can. Or
maybe trade again the maybe way. Let's see.
Okay, so I guess you could just bring up. Yeah, I guess you kind of could.
You would just have to rebuild the trade, wouldn't you?
Yeah, essentially. So all right, let's look at the board first. So Zaven Collins,
Nick Bolton, dang it!
3 linebackers go back to back to back. So linebacker probably not the best value here. Elijah Moore, popular wide receiver out there. This could be where you maybe go offensive line. Liam Eichenberg out of Notre Dame. Shore up that right tackle position. Seems like it would make a lot of sense right here. Greg Rousseau is a guy who I've seen a lot of people like. I know our own Eric Schlitt, not a huge Gregory Rousseau fan. Alex Leatherwood, another offensive tackle. I think offensive tackle to me, I'm looking right now, and I think tackle is maybe the best value on the board. But what are you guys seeing?
I think there's a lot of value in Elijah Moore.
Yeah.
I mean, PFF has him ranked as their 36 overall prospect.
Yep.
As far as tackles, is Walker Little still available?
Let me take a quick look. He is. He's way down on the Draft Network's board. 151.
Interesting. Pro Football Focus has him at 40. But then there are some other guys. Alex Leatherwood.
Yep.
And I think as far as interior linemen, if the Lions were... It seems like they're pretty set on Vaitai being the right guard, right, Jeremy? So if you're going to take a offensive lineman here, you probably want to go tackle.
Yeah, I would think so. Also, yeah. I mean, just in general, tackle I think is more valuable, and that sweet spot for interior guys is kind of that third, fourth round.
Yeah. If anything, I'm gonna probably here's the chance, because I think what happens is we talk ourselves into positions being so deep in draft classes that we say, oh, you can wait on that guy.
Right.
You can wait on that guy.
And then you keep waiting and never get one.
and then you're all out of guys.
Cephas, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I like Elijah Moore. He had a breakout season last year. PFF, he had a 91.2 grade. His NFL comparison, a faster Cole Beasley. So you're looking at a slot receiver. But I mean, he is like uber productive. Some of the pros, tough as nails, as reliable as it gets. Ideal combination of speed and quicks for a slot, a threat to get deep. So I like the idea of getting a dynamic slot receiver here, especially when the Lions don't really have one of those on their roster.
True.
Nope, they don't. Good athlete, too. He had a RAS of 8.68, with a majority of the lower values coming due to his size. But 4.35 speed, tough to beat, especially with the Lions looking at the guys they brought in. There's a lot of quick guys there. Would definitely fit the bill.
All right, so to me, I think that the choice is either between an offensive tackle or Elijah Moore. You guys seem to be pushing for Elijah Moore. Is that where you want to go here?
I do like Moore, although I want to bring up two additional names. I think they're still available. One of them would be a cornerback. I believe Asante Samuel Jr. is still going to be there.
He is, yeah.
And for linebackers, I believe Jabril Cox is also going to be there.
True.
So for Cox in particular, he kind of fills the void of pretty athletic coverage linebacker. And looking at the board, that's essentially what happened when Bolton and Browning and Collins went off the board. So 4 linebackers in a row might look like a panic, but I still think all 4 of those are pretty good.
Fair enough. Okay, and you said the other is Asante Samuel. Where do you see him fitting in?
Well, essentially right now the Lions don't really have that much long term at corner. Obviously Okuda and Owarie, they're still pretty young. But the rest of the guys he's brought in, I believe they're all just 1-year deals, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to really forecast what that team's going to look like even next year. How long these guys are actually going to stay around. And Asante Samuel Jr., obviously a lot of people know his the senior Asante Samuel. But he's a guy who can play inside or outside as well. It's still kind of hard to say what kind of scheme the Lions might go for. He's a bit more of a man-heavy guy than zone or whatnot. So we'll see what defensive coordinators and whatnot pull up. But I think if the team does want to address that pretty weak position, it wouldn't be a bad direction to go.
All right, I'm going to say we're up against the clock here, boys. We got to make a decision here. Ryan, make your case. Who do you want?
I want Elijah Moore. The one thing I want to say about Jabril Cox, though, is that 6'3", 231, he actually lined up as a cornerback 31 times in 2021.
That's impressive.
His run defense grade was terrible, a 55, but his coverage grade is 83.5. That's something that the Lions haven't had in a while. But I'm bullish on Elijah Moore because at a certain point you're going to lose out on all these great wide receivers.
I agree.
Okay, then I guess we'll make that choice. I like all these. There's a lot of good options here, which kind of makes maybe a trade down again something that we can consider here. But for now, Elijah Moore is our guy. Pick is in. Got to play the ESPN tune there. Elijah Moore. We have drafted a quarterback and a wide receiver for a team that finished 32nd in defense last year. Let's go, baby.
Well, we can't get any worse, can we?
Famous last words. All right, as this rolls on, there goes Jabril Cox. There goes Asante Samuel. Let's see. Lions pick coming up. Still got Leatherwood on the board. Jets are asking us to trade up if we want. It would only... Okay, so we would... Wait. So we would give them a 2022 third and a fifth round this year. So we'd only lose one pick this year, but we'd lose one next year.
I wouldn't hate it if that meant moving up and getting Leatherwood.
Yeah. I believe he was still on the board. I can't be certain, obviously.
Be positive.
Well, okay.
Which picks did we add when we traded down?
We got a sixth, I believe. Is there a way I can check that on this? Hold on. Let me counter offer really quick. Yeah, so we have a sixth. An extra six. And what else did we pick up? That's it, right? No, we have another third. So we have back-to-back picks coming up. That's fun.
I think it's a deal worth making.
And so Leatherwood is still out there. Thing is, there are other top offensive tackles out there. So, if we aren't tied to Leatherwood, Jalen Mayfield and Brady Christensen are also still there. And I think it's highly unlikely all three of those go. But let's go look at this trade. What are you guys thinking?
Let me make the case for Leatherwood real quick, because in 2018 he played exclusively at right guard. And then he kicked out in 2019 and 2020 and played left tackle. So it's interesting that he has a little bit of positional versatility, because he's a big guy. He's 6'6", 312 pounds. So I don't know. I mean, he doesn't have like the athleticism that you'd want out of a tackle. So maybe it might be a little difficult to, rationalize moving up to grab him. But when you have back-to-back picks coming up, why not roll the dice?
I think I'm with you there. I don't think this team needs to start dishing out, day 2 picks next year for a guy that very well just might be there 5 picks later.
True. I think it's also worth considering that the Lions probably aren't going to be a very good team this year, so that pick is going to be high in the third round. And there's also the thing to consider is that, there's also compensatory picks that the Lions are probably going to get next year. So
true.
I think, it's probably... I wouldn't be upset with the trade, but I think maybe let it slide for now.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm looking right now. I'm like, Richie Grant, too, fills a big safety need on this team right now. So if we can get an offensive tackle and Richie Grant back-to-back, I'd be thrilled.
Yeah, I think that might be worth it, too. And looking at Richie Grant's snaps by alignment, he played quite a bit of slot corner for UCF. He was... 145 snaps last year, 268 snaps in 2019, but also played box and free safety. So, all right, that positional versatility they want out of the Rams backfield.
Let's kick the draft back into gear here and hope we get a little bit lucky. Here we go.
They're gonna go back to back.
There goes Leatherwood. Now we get a trade offer to go down, which I think we're immediately going to say no to, but. You moved that. Well, the thing is, if you trade down, we still have a pick right here, right after the Steelers, theoretically. We trade down 16 spots, pick up a 6th and a 7th. Is that worth it to you guys?
I like having the ability to pick back-to-back, because then you don't necessarily have to pick between 2 guys that you really like. Both of them are going to be on the board.
But that second guy is always going to resent you just a little bit for making a little bit less on his rookie deal.
Hey, the Vancouver Canucks selected Hendrik Sedin and Daniel Sedin 2 and 3, so I don't think they were too upset about who went where.
All right, yeah, let's pass on this just to keep this moving along. All right, which offensive tackle are we? Can we just draft Richie Grant? Are we all on board with that right away?
I think so. I mean, I need to do a lot more.
Just in case.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to do a lot more draft research. But Jamar Johnson from Indiana.
Yep, he is there right now as well.
He is there. Those are 2 very tempting ones. Let's have a look at their profiles real quick.
I'm leaning Richie Grant.
I think I'm probably leaning towards that too.
Interesting that the Draft Network says specifically with Jamar Johnson, though, he's a split zone. His ideal scheme fit is split zone, which is pretty much what the Lions are planning on doing.
I'd imagine that Richie Grant would be deployed in a very similar way, though, based on his snap count alignments.
True. Yeah. Although they say ideal is free safety, but primarily. But they say interchangeable, but primarily free safety.
Richie Grant has a RAS of 7.3, and Jamar Johnson has a RAS of 6.19. So not outstanding, but still decent.
Chad's a little
split
here.
Mark for Richie Grant.
You know, I'm going to throw a poll on our Twitch chat to see who they like best. They're not going to make the decision for us, but I'm just kind of curious. Better safety. Richie Grant, Jamar Johnson. All right, you guys have 1 minute to vote in that poll. Just kind of curious. Or we could just draft them both. You want to just draft them both? No, we're not going to do that. That's ridiculous.
You could maybe make an argument if you had a safety corner hybrid, but I think these guys are not really that. There's one safety that I really like. He's the guy from Oregon, Javon Holland. He kind of played corner and safety, so he might be a guy who could make the discussion for. But I think it would be pretty reckless.
He was selected already by someone, but yeah.
The one other name that's there is Ardarius Washington from TCU.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny that he's so low on the on Pro Football Network, but he's the 42nd overall player according to PFF.
I think a lot of people are scared by his size.
Yeah, I mean, he's 5'8", 178. His NFL player comparison is Tyrann Mathieu. So, I mean, it says elite slot versatility with his agility and change of direction ability. But they also say, like, if Washington were 6 foot, 200 pounds, he'd be a top 10 pick.
Yeah, no doubt. He's actually smaller than Jalen Waddle, which is surprising.
Yeah.
So by the way, the poll was not even close. 78% say Richie Grant over Jamar Johnson.
All right.
Go for
it. I would roll the dice on Ardarius Washington.
Whoa, okay. Wait, this is our mock draft, so we don't have to listen to Twitch chat if we don't want to. I'm curious.
And add him to the list.
So, Dane Brugler put his draft the beast thing out. Ardarius Washington is his 8th safety, behind Jamar Johnson. Richie Grant is his number 1 safety prospect.
Really?
Yeah. He has he doesn't have anyone with a first round grade, so Richie Grant is the top with a second round grade on him. He says overall Grant needs to iron out some consistency issues, but he has NFL starting level range, eyes, and ball hawking tendency. He projects as a single high or split safety, who will compete for starting reps as a rookie. I think I'm still leaning Grant, and that's even before seeing what Brugler has to say about him.
Let's go, Grant.
All right, pick us in.
I will say I really like this safety class. Not necessarily high-end talent, but there's a lot of good depth on day 2.
All right, now we have to look back. We could go offensive tackle. Those are the 2 highest ranked players on the Draft Network's board, in Jalen Mayfield and Brady Christensen. But a lot of other needs on this team. We could go linebacker, interior defensive tackle. Tommy Togiai is there. Certainly a big need. What's jumping out to you guys?
Well, with a couple of tackles at the top of the board, the Lions need one.
They do.
Hashtag analysis.
Is there a guy that you like better or worse than the other?
Between Jalen Mayfield and was it the guy from BYU?
Yeah, Brady Christensen. Yep. Pull up Brugler and see what he thinks. So he actually has Jalen Mayfield as the 4th best guard on his board.
That's not good.
Which is interesting. He also has Leatherwood as a guard. unless he has him
Yeah.
listed on both. Let me see if he might do both. No.
I don't think he's been taken yet, but I'm pretty high on Spencer Brown, the offensive tackle. I think he's somewhere in the 80s for Draft Network. He's the most athletic offensive tackle of all time, which, not too shabby.
I think best of all time tends to be pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Brady Christensen is up there too.
He is. All right, he is. So Christensen is his 8th best offensive tackle. He's got who? Wait, what was the name you just threw out there? I'm sorry.
Me?
Yeah.
I mentioned
Spencer
Brown. Spencer Brown. That's right. Where is he on? So Spencer Brown. Maybe he has.
There he is, right there. 86.
Yeah. I'm looking for him on the. The beast. He might have him as a guard too. Sometimes he does weird things like that. I don't know. What are you guys thinking?
It's hard to project that.
I know people are really bullish on Stone Forsythe too, as a like kind of developmental tackle. But it seems like Brady Christensen would be the most NFL ready right out of the box, and you can argue that the Lions need a starting right tackle, unless you're comfortable with Tyrell Crosby being that guy.
Twitch chat also pointed out to me that we were looking at the Draft Network's predictive board, not their player rankings board. So things have changed a little bit if we want to look. So they actually have Jalen Mayfield with a very high player ranking, first round grade, essentially with 31. We're picking at 71 here, so good value there if you view Mayfield as a tackle.
PFF doesn't even have him ranked
really
in their draft guide.
Interesting. Yeah. Got a lot of Mayfield believers in the chat, but he's also a Michigan
Homers.
Man, so. I don't know, guys. We don't seem to have a consensus among us.
Just kidding.
Here.
I'm an idiot. I couldn't use Control F right. Jalen Mayfield, 72 on their top 200 big board.
Oh, and guess what pick this is?
Right on cue.
72. It's Kismet.
Listen, I'm not as high on Mayfield just because he is kind of a lesser athlete, and I'm a disciple of the Church of Kent Lee Platty, where he mentions that I think it was offensive tackle is either like the first or second most strongly correlated to athleticism. Having a guy who's about a 4 out of 10, I guess you could plug him in, but I kind of like guys with a little bit more of a higher ceiling.
This is tough, guys. I don't know.
I'm still down for Christensen. I think he should still be there, right?
Yeah. Real quick, just from the PFF draft guide for Jalen Mayfield, mentions that teams may see him as a guard early in his career, but they also do call him a tools project. Like, there's a lot to fix, but the payoff could be very high if he does end up fixing everything, because he almost exclusively played right tackle at Michigan.
Do we want to go Christensen then? Upset all the Wolverines out there?
No, throw a bone to Wolverine fans.
Yeah?
We can save that for the chat mock. This is ours.
Oh, that is true. This is ours.
Yep,
Brady
screw it.
Christensen's
Boom.
pick.
Have a no Big Ten mock.
We got Christensen. It happened. Sorry, chat.
I love it.
They're not happy. They are not happy.
Oh, Raiders next one.
All right, we need to, we've done 45 minutes on the first mock. We need to blow through this here. No more trades. Unplug the line.
I think trading for late round picks is always just such a whatever anyway.
True.
For teams it makes sense, but for us, I don't care enough about it.
All right, let's get back to the all rankings here. All right, lines on the clock here. As a reminder, here are our picks so far. Justin Fields, Elijah Moore, Richie Grant, Brady Christensen. 3 picks on offense so far, but you get a wide receiver. You get a quarterback of the future. You can probably sit for a year or two, and then you get Brady Christensen to kind of finish off your offensive line there. So offense, we're looking pretty good here. I think it's probably time to start focusing on the defense. Bunch of defensive guys right here at the top of the board here. Any positions you guys want to look at here?
I think what jumps off the screen to me right now in terms of positional value, especially for the Lions, we should probably go defense at this point.
Yep.
Campbell from Georgia. The Pro Football Focus has him as their 52nd overall player available.
Good value here.
Yep. Primarily though, played outside corner.
Yep.
Like that was kind of his job at Georgia. So,
okay, that's a name. I don't hate it. Tufele is a guy we talked about last week a bunch. Certainly fills a need
you
there.
guys mentioned St. Just as well.
St. Just, yep, true. Funga is also a guy we talked about, but we already kind of got safety taken care of there. What about you, John? Any of these names pop, or do you want to look at a specific position maybe?
Honestly, the first three names on your list are the ones that stand out the most. I think, and kind of what Ryan mentioned, I think cornerback is still going to be a need of some sort. Campbell's a very good one. St. Just is a very good one. I know PFF isn't as high on Tufele, I believe it's pronounced.
Mm-hmm.
But the Lions do need defensive tackle depth at the very least. Let's see. Can you have a look at the rest of the interior defensive line class? Let's see. Who else is
absolutely.
there.
Boom.
Jeremy, I didn't know if you were being serious or not when I sent that Kyle Pitts video earlier in the day on Slack about that cornerback from South Carolina.
Yeah.
Were you being serious? Did you know that he was like a 6th round pick?
I did look it up. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
this guy's huge. He's 6'4", 205. Like he didn't look that big in the video, but it's funny how PFF says he was brutal in off coverage, and I'm like, yeah.
Sounds right. Tracks.
Looks about right. That tracks.
I'm definitely eyeing Tufele here. Like he's the 3 tech. He's the pass rusher. He's the, I'm not going to say he's as talented as this guy, but he fills, I would say, the role that in this Rams-ish defensive front that someone named Aaron Donald fills. Certainly not as talented, but you need guys there. I know Eric still believes Trey Flowers might play a little bit of that, but he's a athletic dude. Just not a ton of tape out there. He sat his 2020 season. He opted out, so there's a little bit of projection there. But he was first team All Pac-12 the year before. And I don't know, man. I just feel like if he had played last year, we'd be talking more about him. Which is the case with a lot of these guys.
When you look at the Lions roster too, defensive line group is just really not strong. I mean, Brockers I think is going to be a good acquisition, but really it's pretty bare bones after that.
At least I know Ryan's making a face here. At least in the interior, right? Like there's no depth there. There's no long-term
interior. I think pass rushers are pretty good. That's the reason why I wouldn't really be on board with someone like Kwity Paye in the first round.
You got something to say? You're just making faces, Ryan.
No, I'm just making faces at John. No, I'm fine with taking Tufele.
Okay, let's do it then. Let's move this along so we can get to chat's mock draft here. I forgot to do the noise. There it is. It's in. All right, moving on to the Lions' 2nd, 4th round pick that we picked up in a trade. Is that right? I don't remember. Or is this just the original 4th round? I don't remember. Do we?
I don't know.
Whatever.
We're picking.
We're up.
The Falcons took a 2nd quarterback. They took Kellen Mond because they weren't sold on Trey Lance.
Can we see a specific team's picks? Because I kind of now am fascinated. Doesn't look like it.
Well, it worked out when Washington picked RG3 and Kirk Cousins. Kind of.
Did it work out?
It depends for who you're talking about.
All right.
At this point, Jeremy, and not saying that the Lions should be interested in Trey Sermon, but are you cool with the Lions taking a running back, or is this still too early?
No, round 4 is plenty fine if the Lions would want to grab a running back. I'd say it's on the board.
No thanks, I'll pass.
In terms of needs, I mean, we've hit on a bunch of them. I would say linebacker is probably the biggest need at this point. In the 4th round, are you getting a starter? Maybe, maybe not. With this team, maybe. With the linebackers that they have, maybe. Let's see who's available there right now. Garrett Waller from TCU, Tony Fields, West Virginia, Monty Rice from Georgia. Can't say I'm too familiar with many of these guys, if I'm being completely honest. I don't know about you guys.
No.
Fair.
I know Wallow a little bit. Let's see. He's a decent coverage guy. I always kind of viewed him as almost like a safety. I think he's 220 pounds, so he's pretty light.
Yeah. Draft Network has him at 230. Developmental will linebacker, they call him.
It's worth considering the Lions could double dip at wide receiver too.
True. No question. Definitely. Brugler's got Wallow as a 5th round pick, so not great value here, but you're not going to find a bunch. He has Monty Rice all the way up 4th, and I know he's still available. Let's look at what the Draft Network has to say about Monty Rice. Sufficient level of reactive athleticism and lateral agility. Does a good job scraping, getting through trash and closing in on the football. Backup interior linebacker and a core special teamer.
EFF has him at 110th. Not too shabby.
Okay, that's right about where we're at. So, I don't know, guys. At this point, are you just kind of taking flyers on anyone who you like? Do you want to go running back just for the fun of it and to troll me, or?
No, let's go Monty Rice. Let's take a linebacker. The Lion, they need somebody.
They do. Get a Georgia boy to replace another Georgia boy that left. Anyways, all right, pick was in. I missed it again. There's the noise. We're moving along quick here because we want to make sure we get to. That's a huge reach, says someone, and someone else says, "Good pick. I like Monty." That's a horrible pick. Bunch of critics here.
Welcome to the draft.
There goes a Darius Washington all the way at 132.
Wow, I would have reached.
All right, Lions pick coming up. This is, I think, our second to last pick, if I'm not mistaken. I wish it would show me picks that are coming up.
Upcoming picks,
Yeah. All right, let's get out of linebackers here because we don't necessarily need to do that. Got another running back at the top of the Draft Network's player ranking. Ramondre Stevenson, fantastic name.
That's a strong candidate for name bracket.
We have a bunch of wide receivers we talked about last week, including the blazing Anthony Schwartz from Auburn, who had a sub 4.3 40-yard dash at his pro day. Sage Surratt is another big athlete that we talked about. What are you thinking, guys?
Oh man,
Steve, this is corner, to be honest.
Yeah, this is the difficulty of the Lions draft, is that like everybody is still on the board. Like any position is still on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's the way it should be for really any team once you get into the 5th round. I think is you're not too much looking at position at this point.
Yeah,
especially the Lions. I don't think they're going to be able to address all their needs in a single draft class. So it's going to take a few years to do anything.
Yeah.
The interesting name is Sean Wade.
Yeah,
and I know he had a really poor showing in the national championship game.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a guy who a lot of people expected to take a big leap in 2020, but at the same time, he completely changed where he was playing. Like in 2018 and 2019, he was a slot corner.
Yep.
And then in 2020, he moved outside and he struggled a little bit. So, yeah.
Yeah, the Draft Network talks about that a little bit and says maybe strong safety is in his future to kind of maximize all those skills.
There you go. Well, I mean, there you go. You got a guy playing the slot, maybe play some safety. Love positional versatility.
I don't hate that pick.
Versatility or weakness? That's the problem.
True.
Like you're being moved around because they're maybe not so good. But Wade was actually a name that stood out to me too. I think he's ranked pretty fairly on PFF, if I remember correctly.
Brugler's got him in the 5th round with a 5th round grade as well. That's where we're at.
I think the time's about right for a corner. I don't want to sleep too long because I think once you get corners in the 6th round or so, I think that's mainly when you look at guys less as projects and more of just special teams depth.
This is an interesting thing. I'll read what Brugler has to say about him. He says, overall, Wade is an intriguing talent with his size, athleticism, and ball skills, but has lax technique, awareness, and uneven compete skills, make him an enigma regarding his ideal NFL position and developmental trajectory. Well, if the Lions coaching staff is as good as they as we're hyping them up to be, they got a guy that has all the physical tools to play the position, just, having some issues between the ears. Maybe Detroit's a good landing place for him.
I mean, what better place to put him than when he played his best football next to Jeff Okuda? I don't know. Just a thought. Just a thought. And then my favorite part from PFF, Wade served an externship at the WWE headquarters in Orlando, Florida.
No, we can't get him. Sorry. Now we'll make him the pick just to move this thing along. Shaun Wade, you are a Detroit Lion. Welcome to the club.
Play the noise. Play the noise.
Oh, I did it that time.
Oh, okay, good.
You can't hear it. See, I don't know how to get it so that you can hear it too.
I don't need to hear it.
Okay. Are we done, or do we? I think we have a 6th round pick from a trade. We'll have to see.
Yes. I'm not sure when that is, though. I think it was the Broncos. It's like middle of the 6th.
Oh, there it is. 191. And I believe that'll be our last pick. If you need a reminder, here's who we got so far. We already got 7 picks in the bag. Justin Fields, Elijah Moore, Richie Grant, Brady Christensen, Jay Tufele, Monty Rice, and Shaun Wade. I have to say, this is maybe the best draft that we've done in the 4 that we've done. I'm very pleased with this. Now time to just kind of take.
I think you got 5 starters from that.
And I mean, yeah. I honestly, I don't think that's too unrealistic of an expectation too. If they get a trade down, I guess. But this team has a lot of holes.
Chuba Hubbard.
Big boy. I really like him. I just don't know how he fits into the Lions because he's not really a pass blocker, and I don't think he's much of a pass catcher either. I mean, I guess he could be your depth guy, but let's see.
He's like a strictly find the track and run guy. Like
maybe your kick returner.
He was pretty highly well regarded after last season, and then this past year, I guess it was just pretty quiet because I think he had like 2,000 rushing yards or something in, I guess that was 2019.
Yeah. Lions have had a pretty high success rate drafting running backs from Oklahoma State, just saying.
Well, one thing I was thinking of is the Lions could still kind of use a guy in a Theo Riddick kind of role. I don't necessarily know if Chuba's going to be that kind of guy, but I think, honestly, if a guy runs for 2,000 yards in a season in college football in a fairly competitive conference, I think that's never a bad sign.
21 touchdowns that year, too, by the way.
Yeah, that's all right.
The thing is, I don't know how much I can trust John here because this guy was born in Alberta, and I feel like there's a little bit of homerism going on over there.
Yeah, very much so.
All right, well, at least you admit it.
Follow him on Twitter.
Do you really?
Yeah, Canadian boy.
I'm trying to see if he has any kicker punt return experience, and I don't see it in Dane's draft guide, but maybe.
It is worth considering. Is punt and kick return a need for the Lions? Obviously, Agnew is missing, but I believe Khalif Raymond was a punt returner. Was he
sure.
not?
Yeah. He's definitely.
He might fill that void.
At the moment he is, but yeah, I don't know. I'm cool with just doing this just for the name bracket.
Heck yeah, let's do it.
All right. Chuba Hubbard is our final draft pick of the Pride of Detroit staff mock, which I'm going to screenshot here because we're going to do a chat mock draft here in a second. I will allow you guys one trade the same way we did. So you guys are going to get your chance to do a trade, and then at the end we are going to vote on who had the better one. And given that we are going to give the vote to chat, it doesn't seem very fair, but we'll see. POD mock. All right. There we go. Let's just close this out because we don't need to see the rest. Now it's your turn, chat. We're going to start a mock draft for you, by you, and you guys are going to have to somehow come to conclusions here. Now, for a YouTube audience, I'm sorry, I don't know if it's even possible to set up polls on YouTube. So if you want to be a part of this, you're going to have to jump over to Twitch, twitch.tv/Pride of Detroit, and make sure you vote on the polls that pop up. And yeah, if you want Racy McMath, who got a lot of attention last week, sure, go for it. But anyways, are we good? We're good. Let's get. Oh, and Conan Eyes, by the way, I doubt you're still here, Conan Eyes, but thank you for the 6 months subscription. The second best mustache on Twitch Conanized. Go follow him if you don't. Anyways, let's get this going. I will pause it like 3 or 4 picks in just so you can kind of see where the board is at so that you can have an idea of what you might be trading for here. But here we go. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson. You know what? I'm going to call we have to redo it. If we don't get three quarterbacks in the first 3 picks, not fair.
I think that's more than
You did get 3 in the first 4.
We did. I mean, we could just pretend these picks. I guess we could just pretend these picks were swapped, and it wouldn't be that unrealistic.
I think we should already just restart.
Chat's saying restart. We'll restart. It won't take long.
Oh my gosh, you picky group.
I'm just saying we should have 3 quarterbacks in the first top 3. As long as that's the case, Chat will not have an argument to redo it. That's what we're going to stop.
If San Francisco gave up all that to not
to go offensive tackle,
be bonkers. No, it's not necessarily a bad move. I think Sewell's a good player, but
all right. Well, 3 quarterbacks went in the first 3 picks. Not exactly in the order I think anyone was expecting, but you know what?
Well, hold on, but isn't this the 3-dimensional chess that everybody hopes that Kyle Shanahan's playing? That he's drumming up the Mac Jones, so the Jets take him instead.
Yep, Kyle Shanahan has officially convinced the Jets to take Mac Jones. No, we're not restarting this one. This is the one we're gonna roll with. I'll try to make it.
Quarterbacks.
Okay, so here we go. We got I think this is a pretty realistic mock so far.
Oh, he's still on the board.
All right, we don't know who the Dolphins pick, but this is your choice, chat. So here's the first offer from the Panthers. You move back 2 you do not move back 2 spots. You move back all the way to the 2nd round. Pick up a 2022 first round pick, slide all the way back to the 2nd round and a 6th round pick. That
doesn't sound like fun, but the Panthers could be bad next year.
They could be bad.
That's true.
Darnold, he could be bad with or without Adam Gase.
Your mock draft admittedly is going to look a lot worse than ours because you won't be able to use that 2022 first round pick.
It's going to look worse than ours regardless.
That's a good point. Second choice is to trade back 2 spots, very similar to what we did, maybe identical to what we did. Pick up a 3rd round pick. Yeah, I think this might be literally the deal that we did.
It is, yeah.
So you could do that, or you could do the Patriots, which is one that we turned down. So you pick up an extra 2nd and a 4th round pick.
I think they had 1, 2, 3 when they offered.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
All right. So let me do a quick poll. What were the 3? They were
Panthers, Broncos, Patriots.
Trade down. Panthers, and I will have no trade down as an option too. So Broncos, Patriots, no trade.
Looks like Chad wants to counter the Patriots. Get 1, 2, 3 because they offered it last time, so they might do it again. I don't know if there's like a bit of randomness to it.
All right.
Like, sometimes they feel like it's valuable, other times they feel like it's not.
All right. So if Patriots wins, we'll try to do the counter offer as well, which Patriots is currently winning. Interesting. Broncos starting to creep up, though. 46% to 35% to 15% to say no trade. No one wants that Panthers deal. Not surprising there. Got about 30 seconds left. Here, I'll throw the poll up here so you guys can see it too. Sorry about the Matrix style thing, but here's where you want to be looking. Very, very close.
Trade for Patricia. Can I ban them?
What's that? Trade for Patricia. If we need someone to sign our contracts, maybe. All right, looks like Broncos is going to win out, so we will try to do a counter offer here and get their 3rd round pick as well. Yep, Patriots win, so let's do the counter offer here. So let's try that. That's what we got, right? Last time? Mm-hmm. Send that offer. There it is. You guys got it.
Patricia signed off on it.
Patricia signs the dotted line, and here we go. Here's how it played out so far. The Patriots get Trey Lance by trading up. Justin Fields goes shortly thereafter to the Broncos. Kyle Pitts.
Also, it answers that. Yeah, Kyle Pitts went.
Yep. Sorry, Ryan. Lions never even had a chance at him. Be True It. Thank you for the follow and then the subscription, buddy. Appreciate it. Thank you for joining the Pride of Detroit Pride. All right, let's keep it rolling here until the Lions pick. There goes Patrick Surtain, Jalen Waddle, and Devontae Smith. So those top wide receivers are gone. Sorry, guys, you already used up your one trade, but just for fun, you can see what you could have had. You trade down another 15 spots, pick up another second and a sixth from the Bills. Trade down just 4 spots and pick up a 4th round from Washington. Then pick up a bevy of picks from the Falcons if you want to trade all the way back to the 2nd round. You pick up a 3rd, a 4th, and a 6th. But rules, we made it. You only get 1 trade down, so we're not going to do any of those. Now it's time to pick.
Oh, he's there.
Micah Parsons is there. Najee Harris. Jeremiah Owusu. Koromora is there.
Kwity Paye is there.
Kwity Paye is there. Let me
Rashad Bateman.
Rashad Bateman, yep.
Oh, no, I think I know who's going to win this poll, and I'm not very happy about it.
Yep. Yeah. And seeing a majority here between 2 people, JOK and Micah Parsons. And it looks like there's a Kwity Paye in there. Also continue. Jamin Davis is also still there. Jamin Davis still there. Zaven Collins. If you want to go linebacker.
I would be an advocate if you want a fast, athletic linebacker who isn't Micah Parsons. I would be an advocate for Davis. Now, people might be having a bit of, flashbacks about a linebacker named Davis. So might scare them all off, but trust me, I think he's good.
All right, so I'm looking at the chats, and it looks like JOK and Parsons are the 2 most common. So they
mentioned to switch to the player ranking instead of the predictive one.
Oh, good call. Good call, chat. Oh, Caleb Farley's still there. That could potentially change things as well. If you want to consider Farley, please put him in the chat so that I know that he should be on the board as well.
Rashad Bateman.
Could be the top receiver in the class, according to some.
All right, I think I'm going to limit the poll to JOK, to Parsons, I guess, and
how many options can
Farley, and who's the others? And Kwity Paye, I guess. So Farley, Parson, Kwity Paye, JOK. Does that sound fair? I think we'll do that.
That's fair. You want to throw in Bateman?
Do we have a lot of Bateman? Oh, we do have a couple Batemans. All right, I haven't seen a lot of Kwity Paye, so we'll take Kwity Paye off the board. So who to take at 15? Did I say Fairley was part of it? Yeah, Fairley.
Okay.
Parsons, JOK, and what was the last one? Bateman.
This is kind of the reason why I was afraid to trade down to like the middle of the first with Broncos. I feel like it's still good players, but I feel like getting to pick in the top 10, I think, is just a little bit more valuable. And I think if you can get some of those top receivers and quarterbacks on the board, I think it's worth it.
All right, poll is active. We got about 40 seconds left. JOK is taking a commanding lead with 50% of the vote. Parsons is next with 25%, and the rest is split between Bateman and Fairley. Looks like it's probably going to be JOK, which does not surprise me at all. Very popular choice.
I would like that pick.
It's a good pick
to see how this draft stock changes as the draft approaches, because there's a lot of guys who tested pretty well at their pro days, and they're bigger than him. So I wonder if teams might be like, he's a bit more on the smaller side, might move him down a little bit. I think it'll be interesting to watch.
All right, we're going to call it there. The pick is in. Chat has selected Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Congratulations with the 15th pick. You also picked up a 2nd and a 3rd from the Patriots. Well done. I'm not going to hate on that. Not going to hate on that at all. Meanwhile, a lot of the guys we just considered coming off the board, Kwity Paye goes. Caleb Farley, Micah Parsons, sorry you don't get another trade, but just so you know, you could have traded up 7 spots with the Jets and also sent a 5th-round pick, but you don't even know who's on the board, so why would you do that?
Jeremy, did you know that JOK played 331 snaps at slot corner?
That's ridiculous.
Oh.
Last year or in total?
No, last year. The year before that, he played 352.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, chat. Just as a reminder, you took JOK with your 1st-round pick. What are we doing here? These are the player rankings. Let me know in the chat if you want me to look at a certain position. I see someone already asking wide receiver. Here, Elijah Moore is there. Nico Collins, if you want to be homers.
Collins there.
What about Christian Barmore? I mean, I feel like that'd be a dynamite pick here.
Is he still up there? Did I miss it?
I think he's widely considered the top defensive lineman, right?
There he is,
tackle,
yep.
should I say.
At Alabama. LJ, thank you for gifting a sub to Samurai Jack 916. Safeties. You want to look at some safeties as well? You got Richie Grant still there if you want to take him a little bit earlier than we did. Remember, you do have a pick here in 5 choices here, so start thinking about who you want there as well. See a couple Barrymores in the chat. A lot of Barrymores and a Moore in the chat. So Barrymore and Elijah Moore. A lot of Barrymores. St. Brown also available. Oof. I don't even know if I need to put this one up for a vote. I think it's Barrymore. Barmore. I keep putting an extra vowel in there. That's why I don't like him. I don't like the name. Barmore? There's clearly should be an extra vowel in there. He's
a big dude. 6'5", 310.
Yeah, we're not even putting this one to a vote. Chat is overwhelmingly picking Christian Barmore. He is your first 2nd-round pick. Now you're back on the clock right away. You lost on Jabril Cox, unfortunately. We're just going to skip the trades now. All right, here we go. Let's scroll all the way up to the top. Running back is available. Liam Eichenberg, if you want to go offensive tackle here. Definitely a good option there. Wide receivers, I know you guys were looking at last round. Elijah Moore is still there.
North Carolina receiver Brown. I know he's pretty high on a lot of people's lists.
Diami Brown. Elijah Moore. Amonra. Diami Brown. Moore. Joseph Asai. Eichenberg. A lot of different opinions here in chat. Nico Collins. Is Greg Ross still there? What position does he play? Ross is an edge. Let me take a look. Doesn't look like it. Wait. You mean Rousseau? Gregory Rousseau's gone. Is there someone else named Greg Ross, or were you just saying Rousseau? And that's why I got confused. You want to look at safeties as well. Like I said, Richie Grant is still there. Jamar Johnson, same we were kind of looking at in the 3rd round in our draft. All right, so looks like it's between Elijah Moore, Eichenberg. Tackles, do we want to look at more tackles? Eichenberg, Cosme is also there. Leatherwood, Christensen, Monra. I think I have to put the chat up to Elijah Moore and Eichenberg. I think those are the 2 most common picks. A couple Eskridges too.
Where's Eskridge ranked? I think he's like 70-something.
69 ranked.
Nice.
All right, I'll say Elijah Moore, Eskridge, and Eichenberg.
Asante Samuel Jr. still there.
True. Good job, chat, with all the nices. I appreciate that.
How about Brown? A lot of people are asking about him.
Okay, we'll put him on there too. So pick 46. Liam Eichenberg, Diami Brown. Who else were we talking about?
Throw Asante Samuel Jr. in there.
Oh, Elijah Moore too, right?
Yeah.
Elijah Moore,
Eskridge.
All right.
And Kyle Trask. Let's go.
Dwayne Eskridge. All right. Sorry if your guy didn't make it, guys. We have to move this along. You got 1 minute to vote. Go.
This is a perfect opportunity for me to exit stage left because it is 7:15.
Thank you for saying a little extra. Everyone say bye to Ryan.
Thanks, guys. Bye. I can't wait till next week.
All right. Looks pretty split right now between Elijah Moore and Liam Eichenberg. 16 votes for Elijah Moore, 12 for Liam Eichenberg. Now it's 16-14, 17-15. Halfway through voting here. Board update. I thought the
wide receivers would do far better. Interesting.
There's the board so far. We're only 2 picks in, but this is our second round pick. Elijah Moore still 2 votes ahead of Liam Eichenberg. Now he's 4 votes ahead. It looks like it's going to be Elijah Moore.
Well, I can vote. Is it wrong for me to vote?
Maybe. And there it is. Elijah Moore wins with 50% of the vote. Liam Eichenberg, 35%. Diami Brown, 9%. And Dwayne Eskridge, just 7%. So the pick is in. Elijah Moore is your guys' second round pick. There's your board so far. Not bad. Some people think that was a reach in chat for need, but we'll see how the rest plays out. There were a couple of Asante Samuel Jr. fans. Unfortunately, he goes few picks later. Again, we're not going to do another trade just to speed things up because I think this is probably just going to be our last mock of the night.
Honestly, the Lions, they can afford to reach just because so many holes. Like you mentioned at the start of the stream, that like really there aren't any positions set in stone. So like aside from punter, which I believe you forgot are all pro, well, you could justify taking any position.
True. Yeah.
Even long snapper.
How dare you? All right. Alex Leatherwood's still on the board if you want to go tackle here. See some people already spamming that in the chat. Good value there, I would say.
Name bracket competitor.
Absolutely. Look at some safeties here. The top ones we were looking at before, no longer there. Andre Sisco is the top safety available according to the Draft Network's rankings. Talono Hafunga still there. You want to look at corners. We talked about Benjamin St. Juste last week. He's still there. What else you got? Edges. Carlos Basham. Bunch of Leatherwoods.
One of these days we should just do a name bracket draft. It's like, okay, we're going to try to build the best team with the best names.
Tufele. Are we just going Leatherwood here?
I think Leatherwood's pretty fair.
Leatherwood seems to be everyone's pick here, so let's not waste any time here. Pick is in. Lions get a potential right tackle in Alex Leatherwood. Not a bad board so far, guys. The trade down, I would say, has been mostly successful here. You picked up an extra second-round pick in which you got Elijah Moore. Now we're getting an extra third-round pick at the end of the round. So now we have 3 third-round picks. 96 here before we get... No, sorry, Chiefs. We don't care.
I'll be honest, I think taking an offensive tackle in the third round or second round, I think that's probably the best course of action for the Lions. Yeah. I think some people are pretty high on the top offensive line tackles, but offensive line prospects. I just can't really get on board with spending like a top 10 pick on one. I just feel like it comes off as a want, not a need.
That's fair.
Like, I think the Lions can make do with the offensive line they currently have. Like, it won't be outstanding, but there is the chance that Vitae rebounds at whatever position. And I think the team's still pretty high on Crosby.
All right. A lot of people saying Tufele with this next pick. You want to see if Basham is still there. He is not. Let's see where Basham went. He went to the Vikings. Oh, hate to see it. Hate to see it. If we want to just kind of speed do this, we could just go Tufele right away. Is there a best available DB? All right, let's look at the corners available.
Afanga. I am someone who's really not high on Afanga. I feel like he's really just... Honestly, for some reason, Miles Killebrew just keeps coming to mind whenever I've seen him play.
Fair.
Isn't necessarily a compliment.
Ardarius Washington, also still there.
I'd be down for Washington.
Tyson Campbell, a couple people in the chat want. Looks like 3 different people said Campbell. Washington as well.
And I was pretty high on Paris Ford for a while, but then he absolutely bombed his combine. Just like, it hurt my soul.
So I'm seeing a lot of Campbell and Tufele. Do we want to put it up between those two? Or do we want to put Washington on there as well? All right, we'll put Washington on there too.
Yeah, I think those 3 will be good more in the secondary.
96.
We do have one coming up, so if we go one,
true.
Like the other.
Yeah, so don't get too down if your guy doesn't get picked.
It's a little bit cheating, where it might be better to take the higher ranked guy first.
Don't give him that idea.
The next one.
We're trying to beat these guys. Don't give them any ideas.
Exploit the system.
It was Tufele, Campbell, and it was Ardarius, right? What's his last name again? Sorry. Washington.
Yes.
Ardarius Washington. Forgive my misspellings. We're going to go with those 3. There you go, chat. Poll is up. Pick who you want. We use whatever strategy you want. If you want to try to cheat the system, but it might bite you in the butt. Let's take a look at the polls here. Tufele and Campbell are neck and neck right now with Ardarius Washington trailing behind. Tufele takes an early lead now. 42 to 37%. About halfway through voting. Don't blow this, chat. Is Joseph still available? Joseph who? Who Joseph?
Alvin Joseph, I believe. The cornerback. I would say if the Lions end up drafting Tufele, if they still had Danny Shelton, they would have had quite the Pacific Islander defensive interior.
It is currently tied 15 to 15. We might have to do a runoff vote here. Oh, Tufele takes a late lead. We got a few more seconds left. Tufele is. Runs away with it just at the end there. Pick is in.
And the question is, will the remaining 2 guys be available?
True. Let's see. Tufele.
A few seconds.
And you guys have lucked out because Tyson Campbell still on the board. Are we running this one up? We just got to run this one up, right? Like, there's no...
I think because that's the Hafanga got drafted, correct?
Actually,
no, he's still
there.
there.
No, I don't think so. No, he's still there.
Do a poll him.
I mean, I will, but I think Campbell's running away with it. Actually, no, what? There's too many people saying Campbell. We're taking Campbell. We're moving this along. You guys end up getting both your guys.
I think chat forgot that we double dipped at defensive tackle. We already had one.
Ooh.
I kind of forgot about that, to be honest.
Chat. Ooh. You know what?
I think it's a position you can double dip at.
Listen, this is why we get paid to do this. You know what? All right, Tyson Campbell is your pick. Let's keep it going here.
See, that's why when it's a team needs, it's crossed off.
True. Can't blame us. It was there the entire time for you. All right, your first 4th round pick is here. This time I'll pull this up just in case you need it. This is who we've taken so far. Is Hufanga still there? I don't think he is.
Let's see.
No, he just went a couple picks to the Browns there. So we've got
Washington's still available though.
True. Wait, Washington?
Is he? Ardarius Washington? Is he still there?
He is. So if you want to go safety, that's still there. We've already gone 1 secondary member, 2 defensive linemen, 1 wide receiver, 1 offensive tackle. What are we thinking, chat?
I think the Lions, if you look at what it says on the website, it says the Lions' next top need is quarterback. I think you got to go Kyle Trask here.
Kelvin Joseph, the corner, is still available to whoever was asking in chat.
Dylan Moses.
Dylan Moses. People are saying Kelvin Joseph. Washington, Kelvin Joseph, and Dylan Moses are the 3 I'm seeing. I think
we can ring those 3 up.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Next pick is the 5th round, right?
I believe they have a 2nd, 4th from the Patriots.
I think.
Right?
Did they trade? Yeah, they did trade the Patriots, not the Broncos. Correct.
All right. So what are we at? 112.
Actually, no. Because you renegotiated. You got 1, 2, 3.
Oh, you're right. You're right. So there is not a 2nd, 4th round pick. Good call. So let me just make sure. So cornerback Kelvin Joseph, linebacker Dylan Moses, or safety Ardarius Washington. Those are going to be your 3 picks, chat. You get to pick and see who our 4th round pick is. Let's pull it up so you can see the runoff, especially if you're over there on YouTube. Sorry that you don't get to vote unless you want to jump over here to twitch.tv/Pride of Detroit. Looks like our Darius Washington out to a hefty lead. A lot of people saying
He's gonna run away with it.
Moses is definitely the most talked about on chat. A lot of people are worried about his knee. You can look at the wide receivers now, but it's too late. Those are the guys. Ardarius Washington is going to be the pick unless someone creates 20 Twitch counts in the next 10 seconds. Arnick says this draft is fire. We're going to win the Super Bowl. The Guru Holmes would never take a safety this early. In the 4th round, that's early? I know he tends to find them in the 5th and 6th and 7th, but Ardarius Washington is the runaway.
Taking a safety earlier than that.
Boop, 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 boop. There it is. And now I believe this is going to be your last pick, right? 5th round?
Yeah, look at this. The Rams, they took a safety in the 3rd round last year, and they took a safety in the 2nd round of 2019. And they took a safety in the 3rd round of 2017. Sterling Johnson. So I think he actually likes safeties.
True.
The real Dan Orlovsky.
You guys have no idea what you're missing out if Joseph is gone. Joshua Mercer has the most impassioned takes of anyone in our Twitch chat, no question.
Is he gone or is he still on the board?
I have not looked, but we will look right away here.
Let's see.
Sorry. No player found. Let's see where he went. Wait, why? Oh, I'm looking only at safeties. Hold on. Kelvin Joseph went 112, so not shortly.
That was a while ago, actually.
Wait, we picked 112. Oh, that's his rank.
Oh.
He went just a few picks after. Sad panda. All right, last pick of the draft, chat. Don't mess this one up.
Freddie Aaron just said what quarterbacks are available, and can't tell if he's joking or not.
Sam Ellinger.
All
right,
Frank.
Let me know.
On snapper, be a position of need.
Take the best linebacker available. Look at your linebackers. Monty Rice is a guy that we grabbed in our draft. Right?
Draft a kicker.
You want to draft a kicker, Chad?
Does the Draft Network have kickers?
I don't know. Can I type in kicker? Will that work?
I think if you type a person's name, if they're in the big board.
Yeah, I
don't know what kickers there are.
Robo says DT is widely known as one of the worst positions in this draft, and we took 2. Shake my head.
Well, we got the 2 best ones.
All right, what's happening here? I need to catch up with chat here. Surratt or Schwartz. Darius Stills. We need a defensive tackle. Schwartz, a couple Schwartz.
I mean, can't go wrong with 3. One of them is bound to work out.
So Schwartz, Surratt, Monty Rice, Chris Evans, some Sean Wade, a couple people who want. Copying us again, which I don't appreciate, but you know what?
Doesn't look like there are any kickers on Draft Network.
Take the best right guard. If you want to look at interior offensive linemen, there you go.
Does it have to be specifically right guard?
I don't know. Racy McMath.
Good. Oh, Racy McMath.
Racy McMath still available, chat.
I believe that's a real person. Racy has to be short for something, right?
Predictive board request. There you go. Sean Wade is.
Pat, can you tell me, is Racy short for something?
I don't know. All right, so based on what I'm seeing, I see some Sean Wades, I see some Schwartz, I see some Surratts, I see Chris Evans. We're not take Racy. Trade? No, we're not trading.
Racy Carr.
What's that?
Tony's last name is Carr. It could be Racy Carr.
All right. Last pick, chat. We're going to put it between Sean Wade. Who are the wide receivers y'all want? Smith and Schwartz?
Schwartz. I'm surprised Wade has lasted this long.
And there was one more that chat kept.
Let me see.
Evans? Was he a safety? I can't remember what Evans. No, he's like a linebacker.
Evans is a running back from Michigan.
Chris Evans. That's right.
Did you get Surratt?
Yes. Wait, no, I didn't. I lied. Hold the phone.
Got Rice up here. Kylan Hill.
What am I doing? This is why I'm all out of sorts here. Sage Surratt.
Somewhere.
We're not putting Racy McMath. I'm sorry.
Is he even on the Draft Network?
He is. He's way down there, though. All right, so we got Sean Wade, Smith, Anthony Schwartz, Sage Surratt, and Chris Evans. That's going to be your 5 options. We're going to split the vote here. Here we go. Content does not meet guidelines. What does that mean? Is there an inappropriate name here? What in the world?
I think what name is inappropriate.
Maybe she? I'm going to take she out. Maybe he thinks I'm trying to write shit. Yep, that fix it. Now you got 2 minutes.
You can't do.
I can't do she. So there you go. You got an extended.
Smith,
think about this long and hard, chat. Show your picks. Okay.
Ooh, close so far.
Sage Surratt currently running away with it, by the way, with 57% of the vote.
I will say that Chris Evans came in as one of the most athletic running backs of all time. If anyone was interested. Now, here's something that I actually thought about, and I kind of wanted to bounce it off you. Is how would you feel about if the Lions get, say, a 6th or 7th round pick at one point? How would you feel about a fullback?
Maybe. I mean, like, it doesn't excite me in any real way, but
Ben Mason from Michigan is
sure.
a guy who I like. I'm very torn because on one hand, I'm sorry, I just don't think most fullbacks are that valuable.
Right.
I think for what the Lions are probably trying to do, I think either you bet on Bodden bouncing back or you keep going with Kabinda. But if they do want to get a guy who can maybe contribute a little bit, not only as a blocker, but even as a little bit as a running back and pass catcher, someone like Ben Mason wouldn't be that bad.
I wouldn't hate that. Joshua Mercer, can you please show everyone where Kelvin Joseph is on the predictive board? Draft Network makes that board with a consensus of multiple evaluators and playing rankers. All right, predictive board. Kelvin Joseph. 54.
Pretty high, actually.
And we were talking about him where? At 72? Or 96 maybe. I don't even remember. Sage Surratt wins the poll. There he is. Pick is in. Sage Surratt is your final pick in the draft. So now it's time to compare. And so let's see. What's the best way to do this? John, you probably aren't going to be able to see this, but we're going to.
I've been opening it on the stream.
All right.
I tried to watch your screen share through Discord, and it was freezing for me.
Oh, weird. All right, these are the two drafts. This actually, well, I'm going to try to pretend like I can surprise which one is which for those that maybe join later. But these are the two drafts that we had. The first one we traded down to 9. Still got Justin Fields, Elijah Moore at 41. You guys got him at 46. Richie Grant, Brady Christensen, Jay Tufele, Monty Rice, Sean Wade, Chuba Hubbard. Not a bad draft there. You guys get the same amount of picks, just different order. You get a second round, a second, third round, but stick with the fourth and the fifth. Anyways, Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa, Christian Barrymore, Elijah Moore, Alex Leatherwood, Jay Tufele, Tyson Campbell, Adarius Washington, and Sage Surratt. I will say, if this was just completely based on name bracket value, you guys won in a landslide. But I want you to be as honest as possible when you vote for your favorite draft of these two. Which one do you like more? Left, JOK at 15, or right, Justin Fields at 9. I'll give you guys 3 minutes to think this one over. I have a feeling I know how it's going to go. But let's see anyways.
You know the amazing thing about Sage Surratt? He is slightly faster than Quintez Cephas. Not much, though. He had a 4.740. Is X.
Indigo.
It would go very against what the front office has been doing recently, where almost every guy they brought in for wide receivers has been like a 440 or 430 guy.
Lions Win says Chat's mock gives Detroit a playoff caliber roster. Don't at me. No brainer. The one that got the QB of the future is better, and the one who double dipped a defensive tackle is worse. Oof. You know what? I appreciate Chat's honesty. I'm not surprised that you're still winning, but it's 69 to 31%, so it's not a landslide there.
I genuinely forgot that they had already picked a defensive. Otherwise, I probably would have spoken up and be like, "Oh, you guys already drafted him." I honestly forgot. Oops.
Chad is not a fan of Monty Rice, apparently. They do not like that pick from ours. Fields is not anyone's QB of the future, I'm afraid. Ooh, line in London, not a Justin Fields fan. Yeah, I mean, I guess the problem I have with our draft is just it's not as exciting right away, right? Justin Fields isn't going to play in his rookie year. And so you're spending a first-round pick on a guy that isn't going to play his first year, might not even play in his second year. So in that way, Chad has already got a leg up for a more sexy draft. And I know that sounds weird considering a quarterback is literally the most sexy pick you can make. But yeah, I don't know. It's
I think both drafts really are going to hurt by not having a linebacker early.
Yeah,
because I know we had Monty Rice, but that's at 112, and I don't think the Cat drafted linebacker. Oh no, sorry, they did take Jeremiah. Never mind.
Oh yeah, right.
I feel like Lions really need a long-term starter, and I don't know if Monty Rice is going to be that guy.
Yeah, probably not, to be completely honest. But
I don't know if Jamie Collins lasts more than a year with Detroit. We'll see what happens with the rest of the roster, but I don't really see any guys that are going to stick around there. I mean, Tavai, is he even going to make this roster?
he might not. He very well could get cut. All right, chat vote is ending right now-ish. 66% of chat says that chat won. Certainly no bias there. 34% pick our draft. All right. Well, I think that does it, guys. Let's close out. Congratulations, chat. Good job. I'm not upset with either of these mocks. I'm pretty happy with either of them. We both got 8 picks in there, which is obviously an improvement from the current 6. And I think both, you could argue we've got 4 or 5 starters right off the bat. And part of that is just kind of, well, you're looking at a crappy Lions roster right now. Part of it is I think there's a lot of talent here. I mean, each draft had our draft had 5 picks in the top 101. You guys had 6 in the top 101. So a lot of talent to be had. It's just that quarterback. That's the big one. Yeah. That affects kind of that's really the difference.
I will say, trading down and drafting Justin Fields, I think there's no chance that happens. I'd be stunned.
Yeah, that's the trick of doing these things, right? Is like you want to just kind of redo them until you get something that we think is realistic, but you never know. I mean, something weird can happen. I mean, with all the crazy narratives going on with Justin Fields, how much of that is real? Probably none. But you never know. All right. I think we're going to close it out with that then. Let's do a raid for one of our good friends on Twitch, if you're here on Twitch, so that we can go say hi to someone else. If you want to talk more draft with maybe one of our Lions friends, if they are live. Or if you want to just hang out, watch some video gameplay, we'll do that as well. Looks like the only friend of ours that is live is our good friend Darth Hippo. Lions fan, better Valorant player than anyone I know personally. So if you like video games, you like Valorant, go say a hi to him. He's a good friend of ours. Appreciate all of your coverage, all of your guys' support today. We will be back, not here, we'll be back on the Locker Room app Saturday morning. If you have an Apple device, we do live Q&As on the Locker Room app. All you have to do is download it. Make sure you're friends with @Pride of Detroit, and Detroit Lions are one of your favorite teams. You'll get a notification when we go live, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, Saturday mornings. And we'll be doing, obviously, the podcast later, probably on Monday night as well, and maybe some surprises between now and then. But until then, guys, thank you for joining us. Thank you to John Whitaker. If you forgot who that was, John Whitaker, our social media manager.
I'm not Chris.
Writer, not Chris, not 14 years old. Not a DJ, a radio DJ.
Could be friends with Malcolm in the Middle, though.
Could be friends with Malcolm in the Middle. We're not sure. We're still looking into that. But thank you all for joining us. We'll see you again sometime soon. Bye, everybody.
Take care.